Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Ask Matt Lloyd. So we're here at the fourth Titanium Mastermind in Phuket, Thailand, and I'm standing here with one of our Titanium affiliates, Malcolm Pollard, and he's from Brisbane, Australia, my home country, and he's got the question for today. So Malcolm, what do you want to know?
Matt, one of the questions I'd like to know is some advice about for someone who's serious about improving their mindset, which is really important in this business, particularly from an employee to a business owner mindset.
Right.
What's a key piece of advice you could give them?
Okay, so someone wants to change their mindset from being an employee to a business owner. How do they make that transition?
Yep.
Well, okay, I could talk about that for a long time. So first of all, this is where everything begins because most people that I see anyway who get involved in MOB, join our affiliate program, many of them don't have business backgrounds. They've been in jobs before and they decide to start a business online as their first venture. And so they come from this employee background where they exchange time for money. There's a guarantee they're going to get paid. If they put in an hour of labor, they get paid. When you move into a business, that no longer is the truth. You don't get paid for just exchanging time for money. You get paid for results. So what typically happens is that person, if they spend a few weeks putting this time, energy, effort, and at the end of it, they haven't received a penny, they haven't made a single commission, that can start to become a little bit disheartening because they're used to getting paid for time. Certainly for me, I spent 9 months when I first started. 9 months, I quit university, I started doing my online business full time, had over $40,000 Australian dollars invested into it. So 9 months without a single dollar. Just imagine that, 9 months exchanging time for money. After that amount of time, you can really start to doubt yourself, and I certainly did. So that's often the biggest challenge. The way you get around that is you just have to tell yourself, repeat it in your mind, that I get paid for results. What do I get paid for? I get paid to bring in a customer, okay? So all these other things that people tend to do when they're new in business, like spend time doing fancy logos, getting business cards made up, going and registering a business, okay? All these kind of admin things that you think you need to do that are important. When you first start, they're not the first thing you should be doing. The first thing you should be doing when you start a business is asking, well, what's going to bring in cash right now? How am I going to get my first customer? And then you go and do that. You pick the shortest path between getting paid for your first customer, so you have cash flow coming in. Once you have cash flow coming in, everything else is easier because you have the resources to pay for other things like advertising and all those, getting logos done. You can go and pay someone else to do that. Plus, it does something psychologically when you have someone actually pay you that first sale. Then it's like it proves the concept to you in your mind that, hey, this actually works. And then you can reflect on that sale and you can think, what steps did I take leading up to that sale? And then you ask yourself the question, how do I just repeat those steps on a much more frequent basis? My first sale after 9 months, I made a $1,000 commission. That was a customer from Australia. Okay, so as soon as I received that $1,000 commission, I was in a bit of debt at the time, so it didn't last very long, but I asked myself the question, all right, exactly what did I do to get that sale? And then I went back and I started doing that more and more often. I got my second sale about 3 weeks later, my fourth maybe another 2 weeks after that, and they started coming in a much more frequent basis because now I knew what actions actually bring in the money, and it was a matter of just doing it more and more. The other piece of advice, as far as making the transition employee to business owner, you have to realize that as a business owner, as obvious as this might sound, at the end of the day, you answer to yourself. So as Dan Kennedy says, the good news is you're the boss. The bad news is, there's a fly there. The bad news is you're the boss. Okay, the good news is you're the boss. The bad news is you're the boss. So it's great being your own boss and thinking, oh, I get to call the shots and I can work any hours I want. How great is this? But there's also an extreme downside to that if you're not someone who can manage your own, your own time and production. So no longer do you have a boss making sure that you show up to work on day. And because of that, it can be very easy to make excuses. It's late at night. You don't feel like putting in an hour in your business, so you make an excuse and you say, well, I'll get some rest and I'll wake up early tomorrow. Whereas in your old life, in the job, you couldn't do that. You had to clock in or there were consequences. You would get fired. So I think that the way you get around that is you've got to give yourself consequences. If you don't get the work, you've got to self-impose consequences. What I would do is I would use public accountability as my consequence. Let's say I send out an email and tell everyone that I'm going to do a webinar. Now I have a deadline and now I have public accountability. So now it's like those people, the public who register, they become my boss in a way. And now I have a deadline and now I have to do the work and I can't make excuses anymore. Okay, so does that kind of answer the question?
Excellent. Yeah, excellent value.
Good. So if you have a question for me just like that, anything about your business, your marketing, anything, you can go to askmattlloyd.com and you can ask me there. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. Speak soon.